Hello everyone, welcome to this message. I'm still wearing my painting outfit because I was like a painting stuff, and I don't really have a lot of time, so I'm doing this in between, like when my partner is going to the night store, and yeah, he's going to be gaming with his brother. So yeah, so let's see. So the first card that we have is Epona's Wild Daughter. So this is a card of suppression, of course, which is followed by another card of suppression in a sense with the Dark Lady. So yeah, this is a little bit like this could be like a dark feminine archetype or something like that. But let's just see. And then we have the Singer of Intuition that comes after that. And then let's look at the overall energy. So we have the Raven here, the Raven, and it says news, which is very interesting because we have neighbors and tradition. And if you have followed me a little bit for some time, then you know that like this cucumber, the reason why I put underneath it neighbors and tradition, that it has a lot to do with news, right? Because it relates to my neighbor back in the day when I was still a child, a teenager, right? Who always came by to get the latest gossip and did that in disguise by bringing vegetables from her garden, right? So, so that's why this relates to me to neighbors and tradition. So let's just see. And then we have news and the raven. So it could be that it could be that people are gossiping about you, perhaps that you are quite the news, perhaps or that people are looking for the latest gossip about you. Could be the case, the latest news about you. So you could be quite interesting at this moment in time. And you can see my hands are like full of paint and such. So yeah, so yeah, so I'm not lying. So let's see, and then yeah, so there's something about this news, right? And it could be quite it could have something to do with loud self-expression or something, I don't know. So let's just see, because the raven is like a little bit like an animal to me who is like unapologetic in a sense, because like when you hear a raven crawl, like it's not a really a nice sound, right? It's not like a beautiful nightingale singing or something. So it's quite a strong sound in a sense, so it's not that nice to hear, I guess. So that's why I see it a little bit as like really unapologetic self-expression in a sense. So yeah, so maybe there's something about your really unapologetic self-expression and that the news is going around or people are talking about that. It could be something like that. So let's just see. Because the next card is Epona's Wild Daughter, right? This clarifies this. So let's just see. Um, so a card of suppression in a sense. Was your unapologetic voice suppressed? Did you need to unapologetically express yourself because you were being suppressed? And is are people talking about that? Perhaps I have no idea. It could have something to do with that. And here, this is a card of like a double card of suppression in a sense, because both these cards deal with suppression in some kind of way, and even like the soul shrinker as well, because the soul shrinker says words to shrink other souls, right? Make people feel a little bit smaller, to dim their shine, right? So let's just see. And sometimes this talks about a dark archetype, a dark mother figure who is suppressing you, right? So it could talk about that, but it could also just talk about like suppression, right? So that you like a double confirmation of like the two cards in the deck that could talk about suppression. Let's add them next to each other to say double the amount of suppression is what we are seeing here, right? Or it could even be a suppression of the stronger side of you, perhaps, because if you look at it as a dark feminine, more in a sense like more like a stronger archetype, perhaps like a not necessarily a dark archetype, but like a more powerful or stronger archetype. And it could be that this talks about that this was suppressed in the sense, this stronger side of you, right? So the stronger archetypes within you, perhaps. And then we have the singer of intuition. So this talks to me about like something is about to hit Earth, right? And like maybe you are quite the manifestation, quite the expression on Earth, because it has been talking about that lately, right? Like that it talks about like being an expression of the divine on Earth, right? So it could be that you are quite an expression on Earth at the moment. So it could be that, or it could talk about that you are seeking that something is seeking to suppress you, so that people and perhaps dark forces, right, are seeking to suppress you because there is a manifestation happening. So, because something is about to hit Earth, meaning that something is about to become physical on Earth, right? Something tangible on Earth, some kind of a creation that is about to happen. And maybe there is a lot of judgment because number 20 now makes me think about like really red. It's paint, not blood. So, but like the number 20 makes me think about like judgment, right? So, so it could be that you are being suppressed by the judgment of others, and maybe you are. It is quite dark judgment, quite yeah, like of the dark archetype, the dark motherly archetype. You could see that as well as like dark feminine, dark mother archetype. What could this be? Like if you translate in terms of not just being gender related, this could be like the mother who doesn't want her children to do well, right? So if you would see it as whether it's a mother or a father, it has to do with family, right? Family that doesn't want you to do well and is actively suppressing her children to or who's this is a family member that is actively suppressing you to get ahead in life, pretty much, right? So that's what this is talking about. And maybe there is something about judgment because something is about to happen, right? So it could be that God wants to say like, I am yeah, I'm getting to chill. That's very much a yes. So there's something about that God maybe wants to say, and I got the chill. So that was most definitely what God was going to say, but I was still not yet saying, right? So um so there's something about that that God is understanding and is acknowledging that you are being suppressed in this type of a way. So you could be being suppressed by family members where your own parents don't want you to do well in life, right? Where your own parents are seeking to hold you back, or so, and that they are passing quite dark judgment upon you, or just judgment that is seeking to hold children back, right? So it could be that something like that may be happening in your existence, and that God is acknowledging that. And this may be because something, this darkness appears, this quite dark judgment appears because something is about to manifest, or because you are becoming quite the alien expression on Earth, right? So you are becoming quite a foreign expression. You are becoming perhaps no longer like this more powerful aspect of yourself may no longer be suppressed, perhaps. So it could be that as well. Maybe there is a stronger expression of you. So you could see it as that. And I'm getting the chills again. So yes, that's a yes. That you may be becoming like a stronger expression. I keep on getting the chills. A stronger expression of who you are, not in a dark way, but in a powerful way, right? And so it's just like, and not even powerful, it is just more of you is expressing on this earth. It is, and keep getting the chill, so that's a yes. Like more of you is like literally expressing on earth. It's a more powerful expression in the sense that it is, you are more embodied, you could say. And that's also why the dark judgment is starting to take place. So it could also be that certain aspects of yourself are like are starting to be there, right? Yeah, so it could quite literally be that there's like more of you literally expressing on earth, and this more of you is becoming quite powerful in the sense that there's just literally more of you expressing on this earth. And this could also be aspects of yourself, like kind of like a soul retrieval, right? So kind of like and keep on getting chill. So that's a yes again. Like there's something about that there is more, like literally more of you is being expressed on earth, in a sense, like more of your soul, your more of your spirit is being expressed on earth, also in terms of like abilities activating, all kinds of things. Because this could be wisdom, this could be abilities, this could be personality traits, right? It could be anything. And this is also further confirmed in a sense by the Pook, right? So the Pook is very, very solid, right? I see him as being incredibly solid for a very long time now. But he is a shapeshifter. But in this case, it talks much more about that you are perhaps not shapeshifting, right? That you are that you are very much staying yourself, and it's becoming, and there may be something about this electrification, right? So you may be becoming quite electrified as a result of this becoming such a strong embodiment, perhaps, right? So, and it definitely has something to do with your expression on earth, because otherwise it wouldn't get Pook, right? Pook has everything to do with your expression on earth, having a very dynamic expression, or even like a solid but dynamic expression, right? So it could be like that you are present, right? But you are also, in terms of like literal presence, energetic presence. It makes me think about energy much more. He is an energetic expression much more than anything else. Like Pook is not an identity. Pook is a channel. Pook is an energetic expression of something, right? So, and then we have, so it could also be that you're raising in vibration as well. That could also be the case. And then we have the singer of connection. So it could be that there is something about like the dots connecting, but it makes me think about Pook for some reason. It's also the same color, right? But I rarely have that cards talk to each other. In this case, I do see like Pook with his hands like this, doing like that, right? So there's something about touching. So could it be that your right now it makes me think about like your left brain and your right brain kind of qualities, like touching each other, merging in some kind of way, like there's a connection, like a connection between left and right brain, for example, like really working on all cylinders together, for example. So in a sense, like all of your feminine aspects, all of your masculine aspects, like literally connecting, being connected, merging in a sense, like being strongly in communication with each other. Let's just say it like that, strongly in communication with each other. And it's also probably helping you to progress in life as well. So you are going to be making a new beginning, and you're progressing steadily towards a new beginning, quite likely. And yeah, and there's something very interesting in terms of information as well. More in, not so much like connecting the dots, but much more like when your feminine and your masculine like really work together, these two sides of you, like I do think there is more wisdom, perhaps, right? There's something very powerful that happens in that connection. And then we have the undressing of a salad. The undressing of a salad has to do with like navigating impossible situations, but you are navigating impossible situations perhaps as well, like you are navigating impossible situations from both sides being activated and working well together, but also like more of you being manifested on earth, like literally more of you expressing on earth in a physical form, in an energetic electric form, I would even say. So there's something about that, and this could also perhaps be causing these impossible situations to navigate as well, right? So, but let's just see. So before we go to the soul shrinker, I want to go top to bottom first, right? So let's see what that tells us. So you are being suppressed, but what is being suppressed? You not having an identity, right? So you being someone would be without identity. Maybe that is your highest expression in a sense. That your actual self, your actual expression, you could say, of your like your true vibration, right, is one of non-identity. And there's something about that are you are an energetic expression, vibrational, energetic, uh, most definitely not in an identity, and you were being that was being suppressed in you. So just like we saw before, that before you had to, for example, when you pick up telepathically or empathically, you pick up on other people, or maybe other ways as well. This was being suppressed. Like, it's kind of strange, right? Because most people would think that your identity would be suppressed, but in this case it is actually your true self is not an identity, is non-identity, you could say. And that was being suppressed by you being forced in an identity, by you being forced in um, picking up telepathically or empathically or both, um, you picking up on other people. So, and also being put into boxes, right? Being put into identities by other people, but you actually are, and not. Oh, now I get it. Now I got that, like that that stat that I was talking about, like that. That was like a mild lightning bolt going to my site. So that was kind of interesting, especially with the Pook card, right? So this means to me that is a message of, fascinatingly, in the past I always had it from my right side, and this is on my left side, right? So there is something again about left brain left brain stuff activating. So this means that your anything to do with the left brain. So I don't know if the left brain is your masculine side or not, but there's something about your left brain abilities, your left brain. Um, if this would be talking about the masculine, because I don't know, right? If this is a masculine side of the brain, then I do think that that was being suppressed, and it has been, and also all of those perhaps past life abilities, anything to do with the masculine side of you, was being suppressed in a sense. So I think it's the masculine side, but I don't know. But there's something about the left side of you, the left brain, that is activating, but in a sense, like, more of you energetically is starting to be expressed on earth, which could also have to do with who you were before this lifetime, right? So let's just see. And then we have this, the Dark Lady. So let's see. The Dark Lady, you could also see it as the feminine, maybe feminine. What is, if you are a feminine and you express yourself more powerfully, you kind of are, in a sense, activating your masculine side. You could see it that as that a little bit creatively, right? So it could be that your masculine side is starting to connect, right? That your masculine side was suppressed, and that it is now connecting, and that there's something about that. Maybe you're firing in all cylinders now, perhaps. So it could be that, and also maybe as well as it relates to judgment. Maybe you deal with it in a very very different way. So I've noticed very strangely that without identity, it's very, like, who I truly am, right? Like when you then need to deal with judgment, it's like it's almost hilarious, right? There is, I don't know, maybe humor is typically more connected to, I guess, like, more masculine the more masculine side, I guess, of personhood, right? So I do think there's something about, like, I at least noticed that, I was reacting to it with a lot of. I found it quite funny, really. Like, there was a lot of humor, and I was also not taking all of that seriously, and I wasn't, like, without an identity, like, you don't, like, you don't really expect anything. You don't really, um it doesn't really touch you in a sense, right? So there's nothing, like, there's something about, like, that you can just, like for example, if you're getting feedback, you're like, oh, thank you, that's great feedback. Or if it's like feedback that's a little bit inaccurate, like you turn it into a joke and the other person like laughs with it as well. And like yeah, so the, I always have been like, when I was a teenager, for example, like I always said that I was my strongest self when I was a teenager, kind of. um and yeah, so it was kind of like I had a lot of, how do you say that, like I self humor with self, right, where you laugh at yourself. So I had a lot of self relativation. Do you say it like that? Like I don't, like I could really laugh with myself, right? So I didn't take myself so seriously, and feedback and such either. Like if people were gossiping about me, it was like I wasn't really bothered about them gossiping about me. I was bothered that they did it too close to me, right? So like that I could actually hear it, which is kind of unrespectful. So I would like literally say that, right? Like, can you please, if you, yeah, I'm okay with you gossiping about me, but can you please not do it while I can actually literally hear it, right? So yeah. So let's just see. Um, yeah, and there's something about this thing of intuition. So you are, maybe this is manifesting, like in terms of like expressing, I would say. Maybe this is expressing itself as you navigating an impossible situation. Like maybe it expresses like that, that all of this is happening. It could be that you are able to navigate the impossible, or maybe it is because you need to navigate the impossible that this expression is happening, perhaps that it is being activated. But I think it's likely all of the above, right? So that this foreign expression, this expression that is foreign to earth, could be creating this judgment, you having to deal with these impossible situations, but you also being able to navigate these impossible situations as well as a result of that expression, right? So I just see. And then at the bottom of the deck, well, not the bottom, right? But like the underlying energy, we have the soul shrinker. So this talks about like people like really being negative, literally seeking to shrink you, right? Which if you have a lot of self humor, like if you can really laugh at yourself and you have a lot of humor in general, right? Like you don't really take all of that too seriously, right? Or you see it as like, oh, thank you for the feedback. If it's valuable, like you like I've noticed myself like I definitely like these lately, right? Like I've thanked people, right? Like if they were criticizing me in a sense, right? I thanked them for the criticism because I thought it was really, I was really grateful for that, right? So if you are not so self-conscious and like you can laugh at yourself and you're not so like, this changes, right? And it could have something to do with that, maybe more masculine in and of itself, perhaps. I don't know, because you don't really, I guess, like you process things differently, I guess. I don't know. It could be the case, but and it's like like being like a female, of course, but like having your masculine side more activated causes you to become just different. It makes you a different person, right? So, and then you have like patience and alcohol addiction as well. So it makes me think about like what I've noticed is that I have an incredible amount of patience, like literally you would call it angelic patience, right? And I may even have too much patience as well because like I notice that when God is guiding me, God is actually guiding me to have less patience in a sense. So to be like don't wait, don't wait, like start, like actually God is trying to speed things up while I am actually more patient in a sense. So to make sure that everything goes really smoothly and that I don't have to waste any kind of time while I'm waiting for materials. So but I personally I'm actually really patient, and like even like my outside environment is less patient than me as well. So like my mother comes, tells me like I'm not even thinking about these kinds of things. And like my mother, like she also came by to visit today. Like she was like, yeah, these and these dates you should you can go to that market and that market, right? And like so yeah, it's like other people in the sense like my mother, right, is much more is thinking like is speeding things up, right? It's like, yeah, by September you could, like, well, I'm not like totally taking my time for things, and which is also amazing because I think it's quite beautiful if you can really be patient and take your time for things and really think things through, which is, I don't know, is that more masculine to do? Probably. I don't actually know. I'm assuming at least that I just think it's much more my angelic side, you could say. Angelic patience. Like literally, it's angelic patience, but it's also like that angelic moderation, you could say, or something. This temperance. Do you associate with that? Because yeah, I'm like really. I just like to really know what I'm doing and like think things through, and only then get to action, right? So, but I'm very quick to make decisions as well, right? So in that sense, like I am moving forward, but I'm moving much more forward in the sense like I'm ordering the materials that I need and I have the whole picture in my mind, but I'm actually not actively doing that much because I'm also not having the materials, of course, but like in my mind, like I'm already, I figured it all out, right? I've done the thinking work. I know what how I should go about things and such, right? So yeah, but God is much more like about less patient in a sense, and also my environment is less patient as well. So it's kind of fascinating. So let's see. Um and also even the naysayers, right? Like the critics are also not very patient. It's like I haven't even created my first product. Well, now I actually have created some parts of the final product, right? Well, because I actually could do more than I actually thought I could already do. So that's kind of amazing. But anyway, so but also the critics are also not very patient, right? It's almost like even the critics are expecting expecting more than me, you could say. They are reacting much faster than you would even logically start attacking someone, right? So if you want to shrink someone, like this is really fast, right? It's like like it, the moving wanting to move forward of the people who actually want me to move forward, right? That is very not like I have more patience than that. God is also like, so that's also kind of fascinating. But also the critics also have zero patience in a sense, so it's interesting. And maybe that says something, right? Because something is ripe for the picking, perhaps. Maybe it's the time for something has matured, maybe you have matured. And then you have the soul, and it says butterfly. So, and this also makes you think about that you are transforming, but also in a sense like soul retrieval, because the butterfly relates to that for me. It's a metamorphosis, but it's also a soul retrieval of maybe you taking all parts of your soul, you're taking it back, and you're starting to express that again. And it could have to do with like you getting aspects from all kinds of lifetimes, perhaps, right? So, like a soul retrieval from other universes, timelines, however you want to see it. But like you are soul retrieving a lot. So let's just see. And then at the bottom of the deck, we get He of the Fiery Sword. So this is also the masculine principle, right? Most definitely, and it's also logical. It's logic. It's direct word, direct decisions, fast decisions. The masculine principle as well. Then we have open to receive. So maybe you are open to receive and you have an intuition, the intuition of a cat, perhaps, right? So cat intuition. So it makes me think about that your intuition is also very independent. that you are very open to receiving independent intuition, independent inspiration. You are very independent. You're an independent action taker, an independent decision maker. You're independent in your expression. You are um, independent to your more masculine side, or this expressing more, right? So, but also their intuition is also in and of itself usually more associated with the feminine principle, right? So again, there is this, but this is like feminine and masculine, masculine. So feminine and masculine intuition, I think. Feminine and masculine decision making, feminine and masculine action taking, discernment, wisdom, could be anything, right? Such a C. So yeah, so I'm wishing you a very, very beautiful day ahead, and I hope this was helpful to you. Bye bye.